Greetings everyone. I welcome you to the virtual classroom of class 8th. And children, today we are going to study about the third chapter, which is synthetic fibers and plastics. Right? So we all wear clothes and the clothes are made up of fibers. These fibers could be naturally grown or these fibers could be man-made. The natural fibers like cotton, silk, jute, wool, you have already studied about them, right? Now today we are going to study about the man-made fibers. We call them synthetic fibers, right? Because they are made by man. Okay. So here we will start with what are synthetic fibers. Like I told you, man-made fibers are known as synthetic fibers. So they are made up of a unit. Like we are made up of a unit. Our unit is cell, isn't it? Similarly, these fibers are also made up of something, and that is known as monomers. Now, these many monomers join together in the form of a string, like a beaded string. Look at this. So many of them joined together are known as polymer. Poly means many, mer means unit. So that's how we get polymer, and a single unit is known as monomer. In nature also there are polymers, for example cotton. Cotton is a polymer of cellulose for which the unit is glucose. So many monomer, many glucose combine together, make chains of glucose, and they are known as polymers. Alright, you can see it in the picture. These are like linked chains. Alright, let's move further. What do we have next? What are the different types of synthetic fibers? With the industrialization, man kept on growing, making new fibers, so making different clothes also. You must have seen these days in the market, there are certain clothes, even when you swim, they do not get wet. Isn't it spandex, we call them? Right, then you have umbrellas, they protect you from the rain. So there are different types of fibers, like they do not get wrinkled, they dry up very fast. So man created many such synthetic fibers. Let us study about few of them one by one. All right. So the first one is rayon. Rayon is basically, it was discovered by China, and for many years they kept it as a secret. But then, man's mind is a man's mind. They discovered it somehow, and this rayon started ruling the world. Right? It is known as artificial silk. Now, how do we prepare it? Some chemical is added to the wood pulp. So, wood pulp is collected, and then we add certain chemicals to it, and that is how we get this artificial silk known as rayon. Right. So, yeah, it's cheaper than silk and can be woven like silk. It gives you the absolute finishing of silk. You must have heard your mommies talking about artificial silk. So pure silk, we know it is made from the silkworm, and that is why it is very expensive. But these days we want, due to the virtual world, due to the social media, whatever one is wearing into one wedding, of course the photograph, the video, everything is uploaded on the social media. So people want more in numbers and they want more in varieties, and this artificial silk is very cheap. It can be dyed into various beautiful colors. One picture I have given it here, you know it, right? So they can be dyed into beautiful colors, and that is how this rayon started ruling the world. If we mix it with cotton, we get beautiful bed sheets, curtain, linens, these days table covers, what not is available, isn't it? So it can be mixed. See, when we weave a cloth, one set of thread runs horizontally, one runs vertically. In Hindi, it is known as Tana Bana, otherwise weft and wart, right? Tana Bana. So we can always do it like one set is artificial silk, the other set is cotton, right? We can do it. So that is how man created a mixture of these to get the best of benefits, right? And that is how we started using them for making bed sheets, curtains, etc. Man not only mixed it with cotton, he also mixed it with wool, and we have synthetic carpets, very easy to maintain. Yeah. So let's move further. The next fiber, this is actually nylon. It is the nylon is the true artificial fiber in the true sense. Like, it's a pure synthetic fiber, right? It is made from coal, water, and air, right? So all the materials are, all the reactants, all the constituents, all the components are absolutely artificial. Then it is very strong, it is very elastic and lightweight. See, all these qualities are making it more and more dependable for usage, right? It's strong, it is elastic, and it is very lightweight. Okay. Next is, it is lustrous and easy to wash. आपने nylon देखा होगा, nylon is lustrous and it is easy to wash, easy to dry also, right? Wool and silk are not easy to wash. If we wash them with normal water and all, they will shrink, they'll discolor. So there is dry cleaning, or aajkal there are certain solutions, cleaners, which retain the original property, right, for woolen. So it is easy to wash, and that is why it is very popular for making clothes. We use nylon. The toothbrush that you use in the morning, the bristles are made up of nylon. So it is very soft also. It does not harm our gums and teeth. Right? It is used for making socks, toothbrush, sleeping bags, car seat belts, what not. You look around yourself, you will get lot many examples of the things made up of nylon. One very important feature of nylon is, if we take the same diameter, if we take the wire of fiber of nylon, and if we take steel wire of the same diameter, you will not believe, but nylon is stronger than the steel. And that is why the like man is adventurous also. We love to do rock climbing. People jump from the aeroplane using parachutes, parasailing, paragliding, what not, the adventure sports we are using these days, isn't it? So the fiber that is used for making the parachute cloth is also, of course, something which is stronger than steel, nylon. So nylon is used for making parachutes. It is used for making ropes, which mountaineers use for mountain climbing. So it has extensive usage. Nylon has extensive usage, right? Next very important fiber is polyester and acrylic. Now, as the name suggests, poly is many and the unit here is ester. So many units of ester together makes the polyester, right? It does not get wrinkled easily. Now, people are very much concerned that cotton and all you wear, and you wherever you sit, immediately it starts getting wrinkles or crushed, whereas polyester does not wrinkle easily, right? It remains crisp and easy to wash, good for dress material. The thread, the cloth does not becomes soggy. It does not sag. It remains crisp, and that is why it is very good for making the dress material. Now, fine, we have discovered polyester and acrylic, but we do not stop there. We started mixing them because the natural fibers are very comfortable to wear. That is one very important thing. So, in Tana and Bana, warp and weft, man started mixing, like one uh, side goes polyester, the other side went cotton. So they mixed cotton and polyester, and we got polycot, right? Another very important this synthetic fiber is terylene. So terylene plus cotton, terrycot. Terylene plus wool, terry wool. It is woolen, giving you proper warmth, good for your skin, as well as it is not getting wrinkled easily, and it has a longer life. So we have these mixed fibers now. Plus, pure wool, pure silk, they are very expensive. On the other hand, these synthetic fibers are very uh, cheap. They are very cheap, right? And they are more durable, long lasting, and affordable, right? So let's move. Okay. Now there are certain, yeah, we have done this. Caution, yes. These synthetic fibers are basically made up of petrochemicals, petroleum byproducts, right? You know it that they are highly inflammable, and if you burn them, the natural fibers, when we burn them, they burn with a flame, and they are not easily to get burned also, right? On the other hand, these synthetic fibers, when we heat them, they do not burn with a flame, they actually melt. So if somebody is wearing a synthetic cloth and by accident get fire, catch the fire, then this cloth will melt and stick to the skin, and that is why the burns are very serious and deadly, right? That is why it is said that if you are going into the kitchen, do not wear synthetic clothes, or if the synthetic clothes you are wearing, especially your mother and all, then it should not be very flowy, it should be of tight fitting and all, right? Then when you are burning the crackers and all, you should not wear synthetic cloth because it catches fire very easily, because it is made up of petrochemicals which are highly inflammable, right? So this is a caution we need to take care of, right? Next is, okay, what are the characteristics of synthetic fiber? It's a quick recap, that they dry up quickly, they are durable, they are less expensive, they are readily available. You can create as many. That is why, these are so cheap. They are so reasonable. You go and buy a pure silk sari, it will begin from 8,000, 9,000, like that. But in the market, you go to buy an artificial silk sari, you will get it for 400, 500, 800. So that's the difference, right? So they are less expensive and readily available. We have to create them into the factories and machines. So I can create n number of amount or quantity of the synthetic fibers. They are easy to maintain, and they burn on melting. They When we heat them, they melt, right? So these are the characteristics of the synthetic fiber. Now, another important fiber, actually, these chemicals, with the help of these fibers, man created plastic. And plastic is also created from the petrochemicals, right? So there are of two types. One is thermoplastic, another one is thermosetting plastic. Now, what is thermoplastic? You must have seen that when you heat certain plastics, they melt, and if you put that melted plastic into another mold, they can be they'll take the shape of that mold. Means on heating they melt and they can be remolded. Now the question is that why does it happen? Right? It happens because they are into a simple linked, a linear linked, right? They are into a single chain. So these they can be easily broken and new chains can be formed, right? So they are remolded and they can be easily recycled into various new products. On the other hand, we have thermosetting plastic, which is actually cross-linked. What is happening? Suppose there are two chains. Now look at them. They are linked here, one to another. These monomers, they are linked to one another and the polymers are being made. But what if we link these chains to each other? They are linked to each other and they are cross linked with the other chains. So definitely it's very difficult to break these bondage, and that is what gives us thermosetting plastics. And they do not when we even heat them, they do not melt, right? They become charred and finish, right? They create poisonous smoke. So, because they have cross-linked chains, they are of two types: bakelite and melamine. Right? These are two very common. Even melamine is heat resistant, right? And they are commonly found in the switches. You look around yourself, whatever switches, switchboard, you have in your house, whatever the handles are there in the cooking pans and all, they are all made up of bakelite and melamine, right? So they are all made up of thermosetting plastics. On the other hand, if you look at your toys, if you look at the buckets, mugs, homes, you know, they are all made up of thermoplastics. The polythene bags extensively used in the kitchen, the bottles, the pet bottles, etc. Right? So they are all made up of thermoplastics. If we heat them, they will be they'll easily melt, and we can remold them into something else. So it is easy to recycle thermoplastic, but can't say that for thermosetting plastics, right? So let's see what are the characteristics of the plastics. It is non-reactive. You keep it outside, the chairs and all, plastic chair, plastic table. I mean, our life has become so dependent on these plastics, right? Why? Reason, because they are user friendly. They are non-reactive. They do not react with water and air, and then they do not corrode easily. I'm so sorry, air ke aage there is a T, that's a wrong spelling, right? So they do not corrode easily. What is corrosion? Corrosion means that if you leave iron for outside for a few weeks, after some time there is a red powdery layer on the iron, that is rusting. So metal is corroded. There is no such thing happens with the plastic. So plastics do not get corroded, right? They are light, they're strong, and they are durable. They can be molded into as many shapes. You look around yourself, everything is made up of plastic, and we can give it any shape. It can be remolded, molded, remolded many a times, right? It is much, much cheaper than metals. That is why also it is so much extensively used, right? It is poor conductor of heat and electricity. So you see the handles of the cooking pans, they are made up of plastic. You see the wires, they are made up of copper, aluminum, etc. But if we touch them with naked hand, definitely we will get electric shock. So it is always covered with plastic, and that is why they are extensively used in making wires. Even melamine plastic is flame resistant. So somewhere they have started making the cooking utensils also of melamine, right? So these are the characteristics of plastics, which has actually made it so user friendly. But the effects are now seen, and now we say that say no to plastic. Why? Let us see why. Now, plastic and the environment. Plastic has created a lot of damage to the environment. Let us see how. We can divide the things into two parts, two major groups. These are biodegradable and non biodegradable. What are the biodegradable substances? The substances which get easily decomposed by the action of bacteria. They are known as biodegradable substances. So anything which is living or which was living once upon a time is biodegradable. For example, all the living creatures, us, we are all biodegradable. Vegetables, plants, trees, stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, everything. They are living, they are biodegradable, right? So even if we throw them as waste, after some time, they are decomposed by the action of bacteria. This is not so with the non-biodegradable substances. For example, metals. For example, plastics. So we will focus on plastics in this chapter. What happens? Plastic you bury under the sand or soil, and you take out after 10 years, 20 years, whatever, it will remain the same. Why? Because it is a non biodegradable product. So the world is suffering from this plastic pollution. We are suffering severely because everything we is made up of plastic these days. We have stopped carrying the jute bags or the cloth bags. Everything has started coming into plastics. I'm sorry, plastics, and this has started, taking its toll. Mumbai suffered from floods many a times, right? Why? Because the drains are choked with the plastics or the polythene bags. So if you these days, if you dig the soil, the layers of plastics are there. People are throwing plastic bottles in the ocean and water bodies, the plastic straw, the polythene bags. So now it's a serious problem in front of the world that plastic everywhere it is plastics. So we need to do something about it, and we need to do we need to do something very serious. It's a serious problem, it's a big problem. The ocean animals, they are dying because this plastic they are ingesting, it is damaging their respiratory system, it is choking their respiratory system. There was a small hippocampus, and there was a straw stuck inside it. This picture brought the attention of the world towards attention towards the severity of this problem. And now everywhere it is like we need to reduce the usage of plastic. We need to minimize it, right? So plastics are non-biodegradable substances. Look at this picture. How does the plastic damage the environment? It takes First of all, it takes several years to decompose. It's not environment friendly. It causes environmental pollution. How? If you burn it, you can say, ma'am, we can burn it. Fine, you burn it. The pollution, the smoke it is creating is definitely more harmful for the atmosphere, right? So we cannot even burn it, right? Because it releases poisonous gases into the atmosphere. So plastic causes lot of damage. What should we do about it? Let us see some solution. Now this moving picture is saying, even turtles, they are all, many turtles are dying because they are ingesting polythene bags, and these polythene bags are choking them, right? So first of all, we should use cotton and jute bags. When your mother or father is going to the market, they should carry a cotton or a cloth bag or a uh, jute bag always. Even so should you. Then um we should always segregate the biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, because this non-biodegradable waste can be recycled. It can be recycled, it can be reused. So if the waste is segregated, it can be properly disposed of, right? Avoid usage of plastic, minimize it, right? Then have environment friendly habits. It's very important. Your habits should be environment friendly. Most important is start throwing the waste into the dustbins. If you're traveling, carry a bag along with you. You carry all your waste into it, and whenever you reach somewhere, find a dustbin, dispose it off into it, right? These are the environment friendly habits. Then follow the 5 R's, very famous these days. What are these? Reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and refuse. Reduce the wastage, reduce using the packets, small packets, reduce the dependency of buying the plastic bottles. You can always carry your water. Some 15-20 years back, we used to carry our bottle from our house. Why do you need to go and buy a plastic bottle everywhere? So that's reduce. Reuse the things. Fine, you got something which came into a plastic container, reuse it, right? Reuse for storing something, decorate it, to be creative, but reuse. So this will reduce the waste. Recycle, many things are recyclable these days. On the products, the picture is there that this product is recyclable. So if you are disposing it off properly, you can see many colored dustbins, right? Like green color is for biodegradable, blue is for non-biodegradable, है ना? Medical waste, if a medical waste is there, then there is another color of the dustbin. So kindly segregate your waste before disposing them off, right? Then recover. If out of, suppose there is electronic waste, you can recover something out of it and reuse it somewhere. Do it, right? And refuse. If somebody is offering you a plastic bottle, cold drink, learn to refuse. If somebody, even suppose you have gone to buy vegetables, and the vegetable seller is giving you the vegetables in polythene bags, learn to say no and show your cloth bag or the jute bag, right? So you, when you are refusing, you are setting example in front of the others, and they will also follow it, because everyone know these days that plastic is very much harmful for our mother earth, for the environment, right? So follow the 5 R's, and this is how synthetic fibers are definitely good. They have reduced the cost. They are able to provide fulfill the need of the increased population. They are durable, they are elastic, they are used extensively. But whatever we can do to minimize the waste, to minimize the dependency, we should definitely do it, right? With this chapter is finished. If you have any doubt, you can always ask me in the comment section. I'll always I always try to reply it to you on time. Now the question and answers of this chapter will be into another video. Right? With this, happy learning, keep safe, and minimize the usage of plastic. Thank you.